Hello YouTube world, Mac Daddy 1911A1 coming to you from Northwest Georgia. Want to do a video this morning on something I think is missing in a lot of videos out there on YouTube about survival, about combat without rule of law. I really can't think of any video I've seen that would cover this, so I think I need to do something about that. Okay? And the subject is the combat mindset. Okay, not the philosophy behind your philosophy behind survival. And this will be a little bit of an update here soon in the near future. Uncle Fester is going to be making a series of videos on the philosophy, our philosophy on survival. Okay. But this is not a philosophy. This is something you have to have in your mind set before the crap hits the fan. Okay? What will happen if I'm in a no-win situation? Am I going to lay down my guns and just die? What if I'm caught without my gun? You know, what am I going to do? Am I going to just lay down and die? Like so many people do in restaurants when these damn idiots come in shooting or whatever. I could not do that. I could not live with myself. I'm a little guy, as y'all already know. I've run my mouth about that quite a bit. But in my experience over the years, I've been bullied, or tried to be bullied. People have tried that. It don't work too well. I have been surrounded on all sides by a bunch of hoodlums that wanted to beat the hell out of me. I've had situations like that happen over and over and over in my life because where I lived at and different factors of that nature. And how I handle them should be a textbook case of how anyone can handle a situation like that. In a situation where you're surrounded, people are fixing to beat the hell out of you or cut you, chop you up in little pieces, kill you, whatever the case may be. If they don't just out and out shoot you, you have a fighting chance to at least get you some damn vengeance before you go out, if the situation is that way. I mean, most of us cannot shoot like Jerry Machulik or like Todd Jarrett or some of the other great shooters out there who can flat and lay down some lead. I mean, they kill every dang gun one of them, say 6 or 8 of the guys, you know, in under a second. I mean, that's just how, or just over a second. But most of us are never going to reach that because we cannot afford the time or the money to put 600-700 rounds downrange every day, every single day that rolls around, in order to keep our shooting skills to the max. Now, you've probably seen some of the videos that I've done or just overlooked them because I'm using a BB gun in some of my training, a lot of my training here lately. Number one, BBs are dirt cheap. $5 you can get 6,000 BBs. Another $5 you can get either 12 or 24 CO2 canisters for your little air pistol if that's what you're using. And you can shoot. Yesterday and the day before, I had a black finger right here because I'm wearing the paint off the gun. I've shot it so much. Okay, I just completed after only 2 weeks 6,000 BBs downrange. Alright, and no, you don't get the recoil with the BB gun. I know that's the first thing. Oh, that's not even realistic. Trigger control, sight alignment, your grip, your breathing, all that comes into play. You follow through when you're moving from target to target to target to target at your front. All that's the same exact thing. Bam, you got recoil. 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 But you're still moving. You're still having to squeeze the shot off in order to make the BB get there, right? There's no difference. Doesn't matter how you practice, as long as you can practice, you make it sort of realistic. Now, this is the early stages. But now I have went off of my subject. All that doesn't mean a hill of damn beans if when the time comes, you do not react. You do not do something. You just stand there like a little wimp. The scenario I'm going to talk about, I was surrounded by 6 or 8 people. Alright? In the neighborhood I grew up, one of the neighborhoods I grew up in, we lived there 6 or 8 years, and we were the outsiders. We were the minority, okay? So when I hear people saying that you can't understand what it's like to be a minority, I say you're wrong, because I've been a minority. The treatment I received sometimes was fair, sometimes was unfair, sometimes was loving, sometimes was hateful. And I believe that's wherever you go in the world, no matter what color you are, race you are, religious background you are, whatever, it doesn't matter. There are going to be people out there who hate you just simply because of that. There are going to be people out there who hate you for something someone else did to them, or some of their family, or some of their kinsmen in a previous time, you know, like in the 50s with the race issues that went on here in the United States, which is terrible. I mean, it's terrible. Number one, I would never ever want to own another human being as a slave. Okay, I couldn't do it. I'd be dead if somebody tried to own me as a slave. It's impossible. I just couldn't, you know, from my standpoint, from my life experiences, I couldn't ever see being able to submit to that. Okay, it's hard enough. I mean, when you'll stand toe-to-toe with a cop and tell him to his face he's full of crap and he's a communist and a few other things that they could actually arrest you for, those are considered fighting words. I don't want to ever go to jail, but I'm here to tell you I'm not going to just take it. If they wrong, they wrong. I'm going to let them have right between the eyes. And that's just the way it is, whether they're an authority figure or not. So it's hard for me to say I could ever be a slave, but would I ever own it? I want to own another person. There's no way. There's no way. I don't hate anybody because of their color. I don't hate anybody because of their beliefs as far as their sexual orientation or whatever. I don't hate anybody because of their national ethnicity. I don't care. If you live here in the United States, you are an American citizen. That gives you all the same rights as I have, and that's the way it should be. Okay, that's what the entire reason behind the Constitution. But that don't mean you should come here because you don't believe in my God, which is Jehovah. And I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, but the Bible says his name's Yahweh, the I am, the great I am, Jehovah. There's several names for God. My God, Christian God, okay, Jewish God. That's my God. But I'm not going to tell you, if you're a Muslim or if you're a Buddhist or whatever the case may be, that you're full of crap. I don't believe what you believe in. I wish you would believe in what I do. But am I going to shove it down your throat? That's between you and God. Okay, whichever God you believe in. I'm not going to even get in that battle. Besides that, I'm a pitiful excuse for a Christian. That's a fact. I cuss and I get ill, and it takes me a long time sometimes to forgive folks when they hurt me or tick me off. And, you know, I have to remember that a lot when I'm praying about different things. But that done got off the subject again. Because of who I am and what I am, I've always been that. Naturally, just absolutely cannot stand the idea of going down without a fight. Never played sports because I probably would have got killed. But I couldn't play sports because I couldn't stand to lose. Can't stand to lose. I'm a sore loser. And that's just fact. I'm a very competitive sore loser if I do lose. I've gotten a lot better over the years. A lot better than I used to be. But the whole mindset that I have is, until hell freezes over, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight to the bitter end. I'm going to fight till I win, 1 or 2. And that's the kind of, in a situation where your life is on the line, that's the kind of thinking you have to have. That's the kind of desire, the need you have to have in your heart in order to win, okay, in order to come out alive, or at least let them know, by God, you've been there, okay? When I was 14, 15 years old, I got into a scuffle with a guy who hit me we were talking. We were walking down the street. He was standing here beside me, and me and his brother had an altercation. And out of the blue, he hits me, knocks me a winding. The fight lasted, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. It might have only been a couple of seconds. I have no idea. I know the guy landed a bunch of punches. He knocked me for a Lulu. He never knocked me down, and I didn't run. I kept going right back in them fists, and he'd hit me again. I'd hit you. I mean, I'd tell him, that's all you got. It busted my nose pretty good, split my lip right here, had a big old piece of meat hanging out of there, and he hurt me real bad. And I saturated a towel. This lady come running out. She told me she was going to call the law. And I told him, I said, don't worry about the cops. I ain't worried about the cops. You will never beat me, ever. Never happen. You have to kill me first in order to beat me. That's the only way. That's psychologically, in my mind, that's how I see it. Until you kill me, you have not won this battle. Okay, now this was on a Friday, I think. And the following Monday, we went back to school. And he had a cast on his arm, his right arm, I think it was. And I asked him to sign it. Now, this is the guy that just beat the hell out of me now. He broke 4 bones in his hand on my hard head. So in this particular case, by Monday, all the swelling went down. I didn't have a black eye, but all the swelling went down. The split lip was healed up pretty decent. I wasn't bleeding still, okay? And Monday, I go back to school, walk right straight up to the guy in the lunchroom and ask him if I could sign his cast, and I was going to put the hard head that broke this hand on his cast. And that's what I had in my mind. And not only that, but I asked him if he ever wanted to break his left hand, that he was more than welcome to hit me in the head again. Now that was funny. I don't care who you are, that was funny. But the whole, and you know, over the years after that, he won this battle and lost the war. Because psychologically, I beat him. He could not knock me down. He could not, if he had knocked me down, I'd have jumped back up and I'd have went after him again. I never landed a first blow on the guy. Because like I said, he hit me and he dazed me. I mean, I was, you know, I really wasn't dizzy or anything, but I couldn't focus enough. Because, I mean, that boy could hit. Now, I ain't gonna lie, but he could knock the tar out of him. And I didn't have any training. I mean, he had trained as a boxer. You know, he was coming up and he was training. His dad was training. He was a good boxer. I mean, he could flat throw a punch. So I had no training. He hit me first. I wasn't wary enough. I should have been wary because, like I said, me and his brother had an altercation. But even though I never landed a blow on the guy, I won the battle on the psychological level because he was not willing to endure that pain again. And me, I was just as soon right there in that lunchroom with his cast on his arm, throw down right there in that damn lunchroom again. So everybody was mad. Oh, that dude beat you up. I ain't gonna say his name out here, but I was like, no, he hit me and he busted me up pretty good. And I said, but who's wearing the cast and who's still standing proud and who's not? Because he walked away from me. From that point on, every time I saw this young man, he'd walk away from me. Okay? Him and his little brother were bullies. And I cured both of them of the same problem the same exact way. Because you ain't gonna beat me down unless you kill me. If all I got left is my jaw to drag my body along, I'm gonna come after you, I'm gonna bite you. If I can get my teeth on you. And if I ain't got no teeth, I'll gum you to freaking death. But that's the mindset you gotta have. I mean, that's what everybody, you know, they knock Rocky because it's a white guy beating a black guy in the ring, and that ain't happened in years, okay? And black folks, they can flat throw down. They have, and I'll tell you why. Because they have a tougher life than white folks on the majority of the time. Because they have a culture where the weak ain't gonna make it. They always aggravating each other about you a wimp. You can't bench press with that much, or you can't hit that hard. And that's the reason they tougher. White folks, they're wimps. They're wimps. They don't work hard. I mean, it's like the Hispanics nowadays. They are dominating the ring in their weight class. Okay, they're not big, mostly not very big people. So in the welterweight and the lightweight champions and all that, they dominate. I mean, they go in there and beat the hell out. Because them some working folks, you hear me, they will work one Mexican in a field. Now, I've worked in the farming, the truck farming industry for just a little while. They will wear you out, okay? But see, that's there again. I ain't gonna be beat, okay? Me and the guy who was working with me, we were cutting as much as two of their guys were. So we wasn't beating them, but they wasn't beating us. We hung in with them all day. And what we were doing is cutting turnip greens, bunching them and stacking them. And my job was to pick them up out of the field, set them on the truck, and my buddy Ricky, which is a black man, really nice, cool guy. I wish I could think of the black actor's name. He looks just like him in the face. Played on Platoon. He played on a bunch of others. I can't think of his name right off the bat, but he's usually got a military or a police role, a real tough guy kind of role in a lot of the movies he plays in. I wish I could remember his name, but anyway, enough of that. But we hung in there with him. We hung in there with him because we were both determined. We're not going to be outdone by anybody. And that's the reason I have no fear of my job, ever losing my job, because someone else, they might hire someone else that will work cheaper than I will, but they ain't going to do as much work as me. They may do they're not going to do more work than me. They may do as much as me, but they're not going to do more, because I'm determined, whether it be a fight or whether it be in work or whether it be in play, I'm going to do everything I've got. Okay, so that translates, that mindset translates in a survival situation. It translates into a fight, into a gun situation. If I ever have to draw my gun in anger, and if I ever have to discharge my gun in anger, I'm not going to shoot to wound. I'm going to shoot to kill. I'm going to shoot to stop the encounter. And if I'm outnumbered 8 or 9 to 1 when I draw that gun, if I only get one shot off, the mouthpiece, the leader of the bunch, if there's 6 or 8 of them, whoever's talking, that's the one that's going to get it right between the eyes. And why is that? There you go on a psychological level again. Most people are followers, not leaders. Okay? Whatever that guy says, if he says kill him, they're going to rush in on you, beat the hell out of you, chop you up, shoot you, whatever the case may be. And they're going to get you when he orders it. And you got to know ahead of time, if you shoot that guy, they're probably going to gun you down. But I have walked away from more than one fight where they had baseball bats, bricks, bottles, whatever the case may be, you know, before I got grown up and people started carrying guns and shooting each other every which way. I walked away from several of those without a scratch because I told the guy, whoever it was talking, no matter who else dies, you're going to die today. I may die with you shortly thereafter, but I'm going to kill you first. You're a dead man walking. That's all there is to it. No matter who else dies, you and me, we're going to throw down first, and I'm going to cut your freaking head off. Or I'm going to beat your brains out, or I'm going to shoot you, whatever. And I used to always wear camouflage like I do in some of our videos, and I just do like this. I didn't have anything. I had a pocket knife. I didn't have anything. I stuck my hand under my coat. Oh, you ain't got a gun. I said, well, won't you step forward and let's find out. You know, I'm a 16-year-old kid. I had a pellet pistol. But shoot, it was one of them Crossman classics. That dude, 1300 classic. That sucker's that big. I mean, it's huge. But I stick my hand under my jacket. They didn't know if I had a gun. But I did have my knife. And I told that guy, first person that goes is going to be you. And that's the survival. That's what you have to have in your mindset. That's right here. And right here. You got to be determined. Okay? And back to the Rocky analogy. That's the reason Rocky was able to do what he did. It should have been reversed. But being Sylvester Stallone is the one that wrote the story. It was his character. He said he wouldn't sell it unless they allowed him to play the character. And he did such a great job. And Apollo Creed, the man that played him, I cannot think of his name. He did such a wonderful job. He'd been a champion for a while. He got a little lax. He trained hard, but he didn't have the same heart as Rocky had. Okay? It wasn't a story about white versus black or, you know, whatever, or even poor against rich. It was about a man that was made his mind up. Win, lose, or draw, he's going to get in there and give him everything he had. Now, he didn't hate Apollo Creed. He loved Apollo Creed. He respected Apollo Creed. So in that particular scenario, you're not trying to kill the person or beat the hell out of the person, but you are trying to win. You're trying to, you know, I respect you, I admire you, I want to be you, I want to be just like you, so I'm going to give it my all. And that's what Rocky did. So you translate that into a situation where the, you know, you're seriously outgunned, or you're in a life and death situation like in the last Rambo movie, okay, when they were in, I think, Burma or somewhere over there. The odds are against you, okay, but you got to do the right thing, you know. And when the crap really hits the fan and it really the going gets tough, you gotta, you know, the tough got to get up and get gone. You gotta throw down and have that mindset that you're gonna win. You're gonna take out as many of them as you can if it comes to that, but they're gonna, by God, know you've been there. So now that I've rambled enough, I will get off of here. I just leave you with this one thing. Make up your mind now how you're going to do it. Not, well, I might do this, or I might do that. No. You make up your mind now you're going to survive. Okay? And one more thing I think I need to add to this one is this. You need to understand that there's no dishonor in retreat if you do it right. All right, take it as an example of the Wehrmacht, the German army of World War II. Okay, they were being overwhelmed by the Russians on the Eastern Front. They were being overwhelmed by the Allies, United States, Britain, Canada, so forth, Free French, all on the Western Front. They gave ground very grudgingly. They did what is commonly known as a fighting retreat. All right. You'd have this group of guys that would take off. They'd ride a mile down the road. They'd set up a brand new fighting position. They'd dig trenches and set up machine guns and artillery and zero it all in. And while these guys were holding off the Allies, all right, when they were done, they were ready. These guys would break contact and leave a few stragglers behind, snipers and all the slow hour guys down. And then they'd rush down and they'd get into this fighting position. They would leapfrog this fighting position that was just built. The guys that were fighting, they would leapfrog this position. They'd go back and start building another one. So they'd be getting re-equipped, rested, ammo, food, and all that. And then when the Allies ran into this position, they would shoot and, you know, hold them up as long as they could. And when they knew that they were fixing to be overrun, they would do the same thing. They would break contact and fight as they withdrew to the position that the other guys had. They would leapfrog it and continue to make another one. So the guys are well rested, they got their ammo ready, their food and their artillery laid in and all that. They'd been set up while these guys over here were fighting. And when they bypassed through the line and the Allies caught up, they hit a fresh, well-supplied line. They already had artillery zeroed in on the likely avenues of approach and all this good stuff. Same thing in a situation if you're ever overwhelmed. If you know you're going to be overwhelmed and you have any way, shape, or form a possibility of making a way out, do it. Now, in our philosophy videos that we're about to start putting up on the internet here in the next week or two, we're going to lay that out for you. Okay, you need, like where I live now, okay, all these woods around us, I've already went through these woods on foot, and I've checked out where there's possible fighting positions, where I'd like to put fighting positions, possible avenues, the most likely avenues of approach, what would, you know, inhibit and hinder vehicles from moving around, getting around on my flanks. You don't want that kind of stuff. You need to prepare all this type of stuff ahead of time. So that goes under your philosophy. All I'm dealing with in this particular video is mindset. Okay? And like I said, if you're going to be overwhelmed when there's only two, like me and Kimmo, we're the only two here today. If 30 or 4 guys come running down the road, we could hold them off for a little while, sure. Unless they drugged up, crazed fanatics. And in that case, there's probably not going to be a chance to retreat. You're going to fight it out to the bloody end. But if there's a chance to retreat, as long as I'm heading that way, she can follow. Or I can guide her as we're moving through and fighting our way out. Doing a leapfrog kind of thing, just like I just explained with the Germans. Same thing, U.S. Army does it in the attack. Base of fire shoots while you got a runner going up to make a new position. He drops down, gets behind cover, he shoots while the other guy leapfrogs forward. Same thing in reverse. Okay? You got a guy who runs back, prepares position, covers this guy here as he retreats, and so forth. Okay? Those are the kind of things you need to prepare for now, but mentally, you need to know that what you're going to do. You need to make up your mind. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fight, and I'm not going to give up for nothing. No matter how bad it looks, I'm not going to give up. I hope this video was informative in some way, shape, or form. I hope you got something out of it, or at least it didn't make you throw up. This is Mac Daddy with 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist signing off. Y'all take care.